The upcoming mystery BBC Panorama documentary seems to have a few comedians quaking in their boots. The contents of the hour-long special edition, due to be aired on Monday night, remain top secret, but after the Dispatches documentary by Channel 4 about brand, some are wondering if it will be in the same expose-style vein. Celebrity juice comedian Leigh Francis has rushed to the newspapers to distance himself from ITV This Morning presenter Holly Willoughby and her producer husband, and Peter Kay has come to the defense of David Walliams and Matt Lucas's controversial Little Britain sketches. In his new book, TV, Big Adventures on the Small Screen, Kay discusses a time he got to work with the pair and says it is a shame they have taken so much criticism. However, mogul Simon Cowell has gone out of his way to have nothing to do with David Walliams. The BBC Panorama might or might not have anything to do with comedians, but it seems celebrities are not prepared to take a risk, not after watching the media tear into brand. Panorama is known for its hard-hitting exposés, but the details of investigations are usually publicized ahead of broadcast, making the upcoming show an exception. It has been listed in TV guides and on the BBC's website simply as an investigative documentary, and it's causing quite the storm. So, could it be about David Walliams? We don't know, but if so, what is the beef between former friend Simon Cowell and David Walliams, and why would Simon want to distance himself? Shocking footage of David Walliams humiliating young men on stage in a Hide the Sausage game during a 2007 Little Britain tour has been circulating for a while and has been slammed as sickening and unacceptable. In addition, David Walliams happens to be suing the production company behind Britain's Got Talent. The comedian and children's book author, Walliams stepped down as a judge on the show after a transcript was leaked in which he made disparaging remarks about contestants on the show during a recording at the London Palladium back in 2020. Court papers then confirmed that David was in the process of suing the production company for the data protection breach over the transcript that led him to resign from the show. But what did he actually say? Apparently, David called a pensioner contestant a C 3 times, before making remarks about a female contestant, saying, "She's like the slightly boring girl you meet in the pub that thinks you want to bleep them, but you don't. She thinks you want to bleep her, but you don't. I know, she's just like, oh, bleep off. I was saying, she thinks you want to bleep her, but you don't. It's the last thing on your mind, but she's like, yep, I bet you do. No, I don't. I had a bit of a bleep, but now it's going. It's now shriveled up inside my body." Blinkerhole finds it a strange coincidence that during reading the full transcript, we were instantly reminded of the recent rant by Lawrence Fox to Dan Wootton on GB News. When the remarks made by Walliams became public, Piers Morgan, a great friend of Simon Cowell's, wrote on Twitter, "Tip of the iceberg. Walliams is one of the nastiest frauds on TV." Morgan has declined to elaborate. At the time, David Walliams released a statement that read, "I would like to apologize to the people I made disrespectful comments about during breaks in filming for Britain's Got Talent in 2020. These were private conversations and, like most conversations with friends, were never intended to be shared. Nevertheless, I am sorry." ITV also released a statement condoning the language used by Walliams. Meanwhile, a spokesperson for Simon Cowell said, "We were unaware of the alleged conversation until contacted by The Guardian, and whilst it is not suggested Simon heard the alleged remarks, we can confirm he did not. Britain's Got Talent is a family show, and we do not condone the use of any such language." But does the falling out between Simon Cowell and David Walliams go back much further? The Daily Mail's Alison Boshoff recently reported that for the decade Walliams spent on the judging panel of Britain's Got Talent, he played a variation of the same joke. In this joke, he was a gay man, desperately in love with head judge Simon Cowell, or My Simon, as he would call him. It was a piece of high-camp theatrics which Walliams seemed to enjoy. Sometimes he would sneak up behind Cowell when they arrived at auditions and sneak a kiss on the cheek. Other times, he would try to lie on Cowell on the judge's desk. Cowell would laugh along, and viewers could be forgiven for thinking the two men were good friends off-screen as well as on it. However, with Walliams suing BGT's production company, the situation currently looks rather different, and Simon Cowell has now given David's job on the show to his real gay best friend, Bruno Tonioli. According to sources close to the mogul, it turns out that Cowell has been holding Walliams at arm's length for some time. Simon was obsessed with David when he was first hired, couldn't get enough of him, says a senior source at the broadcaster. That he would see each other socially and seemed tight. but it went sour fairly rapidly and they weren't on good terms by the end. This week, when news broke of Walliams' legal action, Cowell was in Los Angeles preparing for the final of America's Got Talent. Associates let it be known that Cowell hadn't heard the legal action was coming, and wasn't kept informed of it by BGT's production company Fremantle. Actually, they said, he hadn't given Walliams a thought for a long time. Ouch. So how, and more interestingly why, did this schism set in? Some blame the "My Simon" act, saying that what started as a joke became something which appeared almost deliberately embarrassing to Cowell, particularly after he got engaged to partner Lauren Silverman in 2021. Walliams hooted on a radio broadcast last year, "Simon getting married to a woman. Who would have thought it?" One well-placed source said, "Simon found it funny sometimes, but rather wearing at others. I guess it would be fair to say that the jokes didn't always come off." They added, "David always seemed excitable around Simon. Off camera it wasn't that different. Sometimes Simon was flattered and amused, but sometimes he thought, 'What on earth are you doing?' One time we were filming auditions in Hammersmith and David got overexcited and threw a pen at Simon's head and hit his face. Simon was not amused as it could have injured him or delayed the show. It was so childish." David apologized backstage afterwards. "It wasn't what you'd expect of a grown man." Others say that Walliams made the fatal error of trying to hog the spotlight. Amanda Holden and Alicia Dixon, whatever you may think of their presenting talents, always defer to Simon. When Walliams won Best TV Judge at the National Television Awards in 2018, he gloated, "I don't look upon this as a victory for me. I look upon this as a humiliation for Simon Cowell. All he does is judge. He can't sing, he can't dance, he doesn't tell jokes. He just sits there saying no to everyone. Anybody can do that." Walliams won the award 3 years in a row, and the last time he won he crawled along the judges' table to kiss Simon Cowell on the lips. A source close to the show said, "The way David reacted at the NTAs always seemed very telling, as I felt that he was deeply envious of Simon on some levels." Although David was hugely successful with his books, his fame and wealth were on a different scale to Simon, who has cracked America. For the record, Walliams is worth £17 million, to Cowell's £400 million. An insider added that the two men were divided by their differing personalities, and noted that Cowell's experience of fatherhood changed him a great deal. Walliams was hired in 2012 and Cowell's son Eric was born in 2014. The pregnancy took him by surprise, and Silverman was married to a friend of his at the time. Defying the doubters, the couple have since settled into a long and happy relationship, and Cowell is even talking about having another child with Lauren. By contrast, Walliams has been divorced since 2015 and shown no inclination to settle down again. In the early years they used to hang out a bit, go to parties and dinners. Simon did change completely when Eric was born. His life and his priorities and his views changed. He wasn't on the scene anymore, says the source. Walliams, on the other hand, is a show business extrovert, as proved by the amazing turnout at his 52nd birthday party earlier this month. Actors Michael Caine, Rob Brydon, David Schwimmer and Steve Coogan were there, as well as Anton Deck, Alicia and Amanda from BGT, but Simon Cowell was noticeably absent. As a boy who struggled to make friends at school, Walliams has a horror of loneliness. In February 2009, he said in an interview, "I can't stand being on my own. I hate it. When I am with my own thoughts, I start to unravel and to think dark, self-destructive thoughts." It's also been revealed that Walliams has had persistent thoughts of ending it all since the age of 12, which ultimately resulted in a stint in the Priory Hospital, followed by medication and therapy. But he went on to achieve stardom, and BGT was probably the crowning moment of public recognition. David Walliams publicly glories in his camp image, and has reportedly admitted to fumblings as a boy, but insists he is not gay. He said, "Sometimes I think it would be simpler if I was gay, because everyone thinks I am. I love women. I love being around women. I find them intoxicating. I've never had that feeling for a man." There was said to be some uneasy laughter at the first dance at his 2010 wedding to model Lara Stone, which was to the theme tune from Disney's Beauty and the Beast. And he is apparently troubled by thoughts of being physically repulsive. As Walliams once said in an interview, "The thing about beauty is that it is very compelling, because you hope it rubs off on you in some way." Did he feel the same way about Simon Cowell's fame and money? Quite possibly. Please like and subscribe for more journeys through the Blinkerhole. For entertainment purposes only. Keep up to date with our latest investigations and hit the join button. If you like what we do, send us a super thanks. Official Blinkerhole merchandise is available in store.